Good day, everyone, and welcome to Slosh Mining. Hope everyone is doing well and staying safe. In our last few videos, we kind of covered some hardware used to build a mining rig. The mining hardware for beginners, we covered the mining frame, the motherboard, CPU, and memory combo, the SSD drive, and power supply. In our previous video, we unboxed the motherboard, CPU, and memory combo from EveTech. Today we're going to be installing all the hardware into our mining frame and take it from there. Just to go over what we've ordered, we've got a Ryzen 9 3900, which is a 12 core 24 thread CPU, and we would like to do some CPU mining on that CPU. The motherboard's the MSI Gaming Plus Max, which has enough PCIe slots to take 6 graphics cards. And in this combo, it comes with one memory module, which is 16 gigabytes at 3600 DDR4. It does come with a CPU cooler, but during the unboxing, you can see that it's not very high end, but it is something to cool our CPU down. The reason I went for this combo, it is a 3900, which is a 12 core 24 thread CPU, and it was going for 8,500 Rand, which is the cheapest that I could find. So let's get into our build and see how far we get.
So I've misplaced my bag of screws and motherboard mounts that came with the mining frame, and hashrate.co.za was kind enough to replace it, so thank you guys at hashrate.co.za, much appreciated. So I've got a bag of screws and my motherboard mounts, so let's get that installed. All we want to do is plug these mounts in. As you can see, it does have double-sided tape, so all we do is peel it and mount it to the perspex of the mining frame. So let me get the rest installed. So we've got 7 motherboard mounts. All we need to do is remove the double-sided tape from each one. Give me a sec, guys. Okay, so we've removed all the double-sided tape, and the peeling of the double-sided tape at least. Now we're going to mount it to the mining frame. Okay, so all we're doing it is mounting it, making sure that there's enough space for the power supply on the left hand side, and that should be it. And just push it a little down. Oh, it looks a bit skew from this view, but okay, so now that the motherboard is actually mounted, we can do the rest. As you can see with the power supply, on the mining frame there's only 2 screws that hold the power supply in place, which is perfectly fine. It's not going to go anywhere from there. And if we look on the left hand side as well, we can add another power supply if we have high-end graphics cards. So let's get our cables for the motherboard plugged in and get this motherboard powered on. So the only cables that I will be connecting is the motherboard and CPU connectors. So let's just get that quickly. Let's start with the motherboard cable. Motherboard cable in on the power supply and plugged into the motherboard. One down, a few to go. So let's do the CPU. I should have actually mounted the power supply on the right hand side or your left hand side, seeing that everything is on that side. So Give me a second, I'm going to move the power supply to the left hand side. That was easy enough. So our motherboard cable is plugged in. Let's do our two CPU cables. One for the 8-pin and one for the 4-pin. Okay, CPU cables are in. We just need to get some cable ties to keep these cables all in order in case we use an SSD. So one cable for the SSD drive and one cable for Molex in case we need Molex, which we probably will use for either the PCI risers or fans. And then we're going to connect at least one connector for the graphics cards. Okay, so that's all our cables. Our memory is installed, CPU. The only thing that we need now is our SSD, which we'll get in a sec. I don't have the M.2 drive as yet, so we're going to use a 500 gig SSD drive. Okay, so we're using a Western Digital Blue. Not the fastest of drives, but it's definitely faster than an HHD. Okay, 500 gig drive. And I'm not sure where we're actually going to mount this. But we're going to try this with Windows 11. And I will be doing a video on creating the USB flash drive for Windows 11 and installing it. But this is the hard drive we'll be using for now. That's the complete build for now. This CPU doesn't support graphics, so we will need to add a graphics card to get video on this. I've got an RX 588 gig that we could use, or we could use a 4 gig RX 570. I think we should use the RX 574 gig, as it's just for display. Well guys, I'm going to leave it here for now. Next video will probably just be the software installation of our operating system, and then later on adding graphics cards to this motherboard, and not forgetting CPU mining on the CPU. So I'm looking forward to seeing what performance we actually get. Hope you guys found this video informative and insightful. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay up to date with upcoming videos. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next video. Ciao for now.